Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CoffeeCast. My name is C0ffeecast, and I am totally stoked to be bringing you game number 2 in this Terran vs. Terran matchup. We will be having EmpireKas spawning as the blue Terran here in the top left corner of Tal'Darim, and in the meantime, we have our red Terran player, I totally lost my words there, imbaBratok, spawning in the right-hand side of Tal'Darim. This is going to be a best of 3 series between these two players. It was just played on Battle.net. It was no big tournament or anything. Just a for funsies matchup. And in game number 1, we saw EmpireKas able to take it away from Bratok just because of one engagement. And I was talking about how in TvT it all really comes down to just one engagement. Up until that point, we saw completely even trades by both players. I mean, it was ridiculous how even it was. They'd come out at the exact same supply or within about 3 supply of each other. And finally, EmpireKas was able to catch Bratok off guard. Bratok did not have his full army with him, and Kos was able to get some free kills there, and that finally was the supply discrepancy. I believe it was about a 20 supply discrepancy that EmpireKas needed to start taking his win, and it went downhill from there for Bratok. Now, we do have one barracks coming up at about 11 or 12 supply for EmpireKas. In the meantime, though, Bratok has not yet laid down a barracks, so I believe he's going to be going for a fast expand. Indeed, we have a lot of resources saved up, and this will be a 14 expand off of Bratok, a very, very greedy build. For you ProToss players out there, this is the equivalent of a 17 Nexus. This is about as early as you could possibly go for an expansion as a Terran player. So, we have one player going a little bit risky here. The other player, Kos, playing a little bit safe, playing normal, I would say. It looks like we had a little bit of a pause there, but fortunately, we do not have to sit through that. So, I'd also expect to see Kos do a fast expand of his own fairly shortly, just not quite as fast as Bratok, as that has been what he has been doing. He really seems to favor this one rack expand, which is a very, very good build for a Terran player. So, for those of you who do not know, the one racks expand, get a barracks at 12 or 11 supply, get that orbital right as soon as that barracks finishes, and on 18 supply, lay down your command center. It is a very, very, I wouldn't say extraordinarily safe build. It's about as safe as you're going to get for a fast expand build as a Terran player, and I know it works in TvT and TvP, and I'm fairly certain it works as well in TvZ as long as you get a bunker up. It looks like EmpireKas is indeed going to scout this command center. It's not going to be able to do any damage whatsoever to it with this, with only one Marine here, especially with this Marine of Bratok out. Bratok did get the first shot off, so he will win this battle. However, a second Marine does come up, and it looks like there's going to be a little bit of pressure. Some SUVs getting pulled now. Very, very annoying. Might want to pull this one away from the combat. Indeed, Bratok does pull that Marine, that SUV away from the combat. However, there we go. 2 more SUVs coming out on the field. 2 more Marines coming out on the field. Could pull these SUVs back now, and there we go. 2 mules being dropped down. And also, any chance you get to drop mules anywhere away from your main base, do it. Because if you drop your mules at your main base, it gets mined out faster. And then if you lose your expansion, well, then you have less minerals at your main base to mine and try to get back into the game. And speaking of mining, what's this? This, ladies and gentlemen, is a ninja expansion coming out of EmpireKas, dropping that down in the lower left-hand main where there was nobody spawning. So we are going to be seeing a very, very quick third coming out of EmpireKas, responding to the fast expand with a fast expand of his own. SUV just coming down here, probably take the watchtower, indeed. So I very, very highly doubt that that will get scouted, at least until Bratok moves into the main base. And if he is able to get far enough, he'll see that there really isn't that much here for Kos. However, until that happens, Kos is going to be sitting in a fairly nice position. Factory now coming up for Bratok. Tech lab being built next to it. I don't know if this tech lab will be used for barracks upgrades or if it will be switched off with the factory. Either way, though, Bratok cannot go wrong right now. If he decides to do some sort of quicker push, he will be in good shape. Indeed, we are going to be seeing a research out of the tech lab on the barracks, so we will be having stim pack coming out. A little bit of a Marine force right here at the top watchtower. This is the really important watchtower to watch for us in this game, as we did get close spawns, or at least as close as you're going to get here on Tal'Darim Altar. A lot of Marines being pumped out for Kas. Yeah, I do believe he has triple barracks production right now, and adding on yet another barracks. So we are going to have a 4 racks build out of Kas. In the meantime, we did have 2 racks back for our red Terran player BraTok, going into 3 racks, and looks like we will be getting some medevacs out. Barracks on the high ground, I really like that decision out of BraTok. No barracks for Kas, I really don't like that decision. But it doesn't matter too much, as BraTok is not doing any sort of push, and that may be why Kas has not put that down. That's an extra 100 minerals that Kas has that BraTok does not. Down here we do see mules being dropped at this Ninja Third, and it is beginning to wind up. Never transfer SCVs to your Ninja expansion. That is just a bad idea, because if those SCVs get intercepted, your opponent will know exactly what is going on and where your new expansion is. Right now, no real lead for either player in the harvester count, but that'll probably change fairly quickly, as we do have triple SCV production as opposed to the double production from BraTok. And also, we'll be having triple mule production and only only double mule production out of BraTok. So EmpireKas is quickly going to be starting to take an economy advantage. There comes 2 medevacs out, so a little bit of a tech advantage right now does go to our red Terran player BraTok, taking down the rocks to his 3rd base. However, even if he takes his 3rd base immediately, it looks like we will be seeing a double drop out of BraTok. Even if BraTok does take his 3rd base immediately, this 3rd base for Kas will have been mining quite a bit longer, and now we can really start to see that begin to ramp up. We are now 6 SCVs ahead. Just look at the income tab right there. That extra mule makes a huge difference. Here comes our double medevac drop, dropping off in that little odd little hook of the base here on Tal'Darim Altar. In the meantime, we will be seeing a few Marines out in the front. However, they will not be doing too much. If he could snipe this tech lab, that would be absolutely huge, as that stimpack is not quite finished yet. Go for the tech lab, brother. Go for the tech lab. He is not going for the tech lab, instead choosing to go after Marines. I don't think he realizes how valuable that tech lab is for his opponent. No stim quite yet for Kas, which is what he really needs to be able to hold off against it. Now we do have stim finished. BraTok really needs to pick up and fly out without medevac drive. No, that medevac does get picked off. However, 1 medevac full of Marines does manage to stay alive. I don't think you can drop over here. I'm not exactly sure. I'd be interested to see him try to drop here, just because that'd be a nasty thing for Terrans to be able to do. Drop an SCV here, build a supply depot so that he could never be eliminated from the game. That sounds like a Starcraft 1 strategy. That was something I always did, because I was really bad at the game. I was really bad at Starcraft 1. Not that I'm much better in Starcraft 2. Nonetheless, Kas, once again, this Ninja expansion really is going to start taking its toll soon. BraTok is not going to have the economy to keep up with that. Healing SCVs in his mineral line, actually. And no tanks out of BraTok yet. That was really going to be his one big advantage, I think, was how much more quickly he could be getting tanked out than his opponent. We are now seeing that factory land down on the tech lab. However, once again, that could have come so much earlier. So much earlier. We do have a lot of reactors. My goodness, that is going to be 5 barracks with reactors coming out of BraTok here, as well as a starport with your reactors. So double medevac or double Viking production. More likely than not, double medevac like we saw in the last game. However, once again, I would prefer double Viking production, just to take air controls to get that extra sight range with your tanks. We do have the siege tank tech quite a bit ahead of Kas's, because Kas has not even started his yet, just now landing down on that tech lab. Kas has already finished with it, apparently. But he has tanks? I missed that completely somewhere along the line. Apparently, we do have 2 siege tanks, 3 siege tanks out, with siege tech available, as well as double siege tank production coming out of Kas. In the meantime, BraTok only now getting his 3rd base up with very few tanks. Only 1 tank on the field and a severe Marine disadvantage. BraTok is in a really bad position, and it looks like we were seeing another attempted drop here. However, there are missile turrets and Marines back to defend. This is not going to be able to land. BraTok just lost an entire medevac full of Marines. That is 10 supply just gone like that. That is very painful as a Terran player. Looks like we are seeing a little bit of a push. 2 tanks out of him in a bad position. 1 tank does get picked off immediately. However, with so many Marines, can BraTok really contend against the army? We're about to find out here. The tank is getting a couple nice shots off. However, that it does fall so quickly to this massive amount of Marines. And now this tank, it will have free reign on the Terran army of BraTok. And BraTok already down 144 to 97 supply. and that is not a situation you want to be in as a Terran player. A second tank does get up for BraTok, however, not focus firing quite in the right spot, and doesn't quite manage to take out as many Marines as he possibly could in that engagement. A couple more medevacs for Kos would do him quite a bit of good. Taking a 4th base there, and already having remacroed up yet another army, which will come in as reinforcements, I am sure, because he's done quite a bit of damage. Denying BraTok's 3rd is absolutely huge, because not only is BraTok down that 3rd base that Kos has had so long, Kos now has his 4th base. Looks like we are seeing yet another attempted drop come out of BraTok, however, he will only be able to pick up a missile turret there, and not much more. 0-1 upgrades for BraTok, 1-1 for Kos, so a little bit of an upgrade advantage going in Kos' favor, but when you combine that small upgrade advantage with a missed rally, my goodness, BraTok cannot afford to have those little miscues like that. Really need to siege up here. The siege up does go to Kos first, however, so this is going to be a very, very bad game for BraTok, who's already very far behind. The player who sieges up first is often going to win the battle because he's going to get an extra volley in before his opponent does. And now you see BraTok once again falling below 100 supply, and that is just awful for him. I really don't know if there's much he can do to come back in this game. A 4-base Terran versus a 2-base Terran. 4-base anything versus 2-base anything is very, very bad for the 2-baser. And Kos just happy to fall back, just take a lead even further. Once again, doing double tank production, and even getting a 3rd factory with a tag lab, so he will be able to do triple tank production to the double tank production of BraTok. BraTok falling ever further behind with each and every moment in this game. Really needs to expand if he wants to have any hope of coming back. We do have an orbital command on the way somewhere. I do not see that. There it is. So we do have an orbital command being morphed in over in the main base, and that will surely be lifted off and transferred over to the 3rd base. But it's going to be pretty tough to be able to hold that, as this is a massive Marine tank ball coming from EmpireKas. The count, 69 Marines to 45, or to 49 in Kos' favor. 10 tanks to 5 tanks, once again in Kos' favor. And 74 SCVs to 50, again in Kos' favor. And now able to get a little bit of a siege up on the natural expansion of BraTok. It will take out so many SCVs before there's even a reaction right there. And these Marines and medevacs on the high ground just allow the tanks to get the site up here. Able to wail away after the orbital command, really just lift it off. There's the lift off, but it's going to be too late, as it is sustaining heavy damage, heavy losses already at this natural expansion. Now just really needs to pull these units back as they are getting sieged up. However, that is not that big of a deal, because we do have a maxed out EmpireKas versus a not nearly maxed out imbaBratok. And now, oh, I chose to take a step at a bad time, because BraTok is now surrounded by Kos' army. He has nowhere to run. He could try to run straight down, but that would require unsieging his tanks, which could be suicide. BraTok is just stuck between a rock and a hard place in this case, and he really needs to try to control this watchtower, if anything. However, this medevac does not allow the control of the watchtower, because what does that even say? I don't even know. Kos really could just kind of stay here, I guess. I guess he could actually push up right here a little bit, as these medevacs are not pushed out as far as they can go. And it looks like Kos is just going to slaughter all those Marines. There's the GG, the good luck, the good game, and thanks coming from Kos. The GG from BraTok. So BraTok did lose the series 0-2, so we do have Kos winning this series 2-0. Made BraTok almost look foolish in that game because of, once again, this ninja 3rd base, which did just get taken out by a drop, apparently. But BraTok getting his entire army sandwiched in the middle of the map, that is not something you want to do. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here on the CoffeeCast. If you have not already, go to my YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/user/coffeebreak951. That is coffee break with an O, not a 0, 951. Coffee break 951, because I keep messing that up. And subscribe to me there, and that's where I'm going to be putting up all of these replays. Also, go to Facebook, type in Coffee Break, find me there. That's how you know when I will be going live. And with that, I have nothing more to say. Thank you all very much for joining me here on the CoffeeCast, and until next time, folks, this is Coffee Break, signing out.